Well, students, today we're going to start working on these clay houses. I would first like you to write a name tag. So when we bring these up, you'll bring your name tag with your clay building, and you can write your class code on it also. And then you can just set that aside. You're going to make a decision if you're going to do a flat roof. This one has a flat roof on it. This one has a slanted roof on it. And so there are a couple sheets of paper at your table. One says flat roof, one says slanted roof. The flat roof, you can see here, I would put it here, and I would just draw a line and I would cut that top part. And this one is my slanted roof. You can see too that I'm gonna try to hand this to you so it's going the right way. You can see if I were to turn it, that the paper's too short. So I do want you to keep it the way I'm handing it to you so that it's the right length. You can see that I would set this so that it's at the bottom. I'm gonna take my stick tool and I'm gonna lightly trace it. Just lightly trace it. Set these at the end of your table so that I can pick them up. You're gonna have a paper clip like this. It's bent like that for a reason. Please leave it like that. And you can take it, and this is really thin, so it's easy to cut. I'm just cutting it through, going slowly, because it's easy to cut down here by accident if I'm going too fast. So I'm gonna cut through here, follow that line all the way to the other side. This is gonna be extra, so you can set that aside. Clean off your paper clip, that can go here. I'm gonna set my extra clay aside for now. And then this, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna put my hand under it like this, and I'm gonna make some score marks on this edge. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna make lines that go this way. Then I'm gonna cross them like an X. Then I'm going to take this and I'm gonna hold this one. I'll do the same thing. Make my score marks, and then cross those like an X also. You'll notice that some clay is getting on the end of my tool, so I can just clean that off and put that with my extra clay. And sometimes when people do a flat roof, for some reason they score the tops and the bottoms. Please remember you're scoring just the sides. Now, when I do this, I find it the easiest to, once I score it, to turn it around. And I'm gonna point out why in a moment. I'm gonna put just some water on here. This starts to make my slip. Starts to mix the clay in the water. I'll gently set that side down. I'll take this and I'll mix my clay and my water. I'm not trying to smooth these out. I want this to still be grippy and rough. And I'm gonna put this together. I don't wanna fold it. Sometimes people fold it like this. The reason I turned it around was so I can put my fingers on the inside, my thumbs on the outside, and I'm gonna start to put the score marks together just like I would do like zipping a coat. I would just put the score marks together and they start gripping together. Make sure there's enough water in there. As it grips together, I can stand it up and I can hold it in my hand. Now at the bottom you can see it's not joining together very well, so I'm just smoothing it a little bit with my finger, and it should be round. So you can see the end of this is round. You can see the top should be round also. Now most of the rest of our time is going to be spent smoothing because we want to have a really good cylinder shape. So it's nice and strong for putting the other parts on, putting our roof on and all of that stuff. So here, I'm gonna show you a couple tricks on getting this to smooth. So put a little bit of water on here. Make sure this is sticking together. Use your stick tool, and I'm gonna roll it like this with my finger. And I'm gonna go over it this way. You can see I'm kind of going on a diagonal line across where I scored it, where the line was. Then I'm gonna turn it around and I'm gonna cross back over. just rolling that clay together, getting that to smooth out. My best smoothing tool is really my finger, because I can take my finger, and where I did that, you can see now my finger with 1 drop of water is almost making that disappear. Now up at the top and the bottom, there's still a line here. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to roll it together there, and I'm going to roll it together on the top. It's a good idea to do some of that on the inside too, so I'm going to try to tip it so you can see. I would roll it on the inside too. I'm trying to get right in the center here, rolling that. That's why I'm holding it in my hand. Then I'll turn it around because the stick isn't long enough, and I can roll it together on the inside here too. Your finger is always a good smoothing tool, so smooth the inside and turn it around. I will give you a popsicle stick also. This can be a good smoothing tool, but sometimes students, when they use this popsicle stick, this one, they scrape a bunch of the clay off. This is the front where it's kind of bumpy, where I had to curve it so it kind of stretched the clay. So here, I'm just gonna take this and I'm just gonna use this popsicle stick and I'm gonna gently smooth it, and I'm gonna smooth it with my finger. Then I put a drop of water on it, I gently smooth it, then I smooth it with my finger. And you continue to repeat that. If your clay tool starts to get too dirty, clean it off and put that with your extra clay. Continue turning it in your hand and smoothing it. It's not a bad idea to do that on the inside where we connected it to, and I'll point that out in a moment, but I'm almost back to where I started. I'm doing this kind of fast because I want to give you guys work time, but I really would do a lot more smoothing on mine to make it look like my best. I'm just trying to go quickly enough so you get work time. So here, this is the edge that I smoothed it on. I can take that and I can do a little bit of smoothing on the inside too. And I'm just going to take it and I'm going to smooth it also with my finger. I'm going to turn it around, smooth it well with your finger. The last part is, if you roll it a little bit on the table, that can smooth it, but that can also make it all bumpy on the inside if you push down on it. So if you put a couple drops of water on it, and I'm going to move the water cup out of the way so I don't spill it. Make sure you have a nice smooth spot on your table, and you can give it just a couple gentle rolls. You can see that I'm just letting it roll itself. I'm not pushing on it. Just the smoothness of the table will smooth it a little bit. Don't do that too much because it will make it all bumpy on the inside if you push down on it or if you roll it too much. One thing that I definitely do not want to do when I'm doing this is to ever pinch the top or pinch the bottom. These parts have to stay thick enough to keep your building strong. So please don't pinch the top or the bottom. You can see that I continue to smooth it with my finger because my finger is my best smoothing tool. And I've got some more work to do, but I'm gonna let you guys get started so that we can have fun working with clay. At the end, I will have you bring up your building and bring up your name tag, and I'll give you some directions for cleanup and where I would like you to put things and get our hands rinsed. So I'll lay this down so you can see it, but let's have fun working with clay.